Hello, students. Welcome to our lesson of today. So today we are going to talk about how to factorize quadratic polynomials. Remember, when we multiply two polynomials in form of px plus q, where p and q are constants, x is a variable and p is not equal to 0. The product will be in form of ax squared plus bx plus c, where a, b, and c are constants and a is not equal to 0. Now, this is what we call a quadratic polynomial. Now, this is what actually we are talking about. If you have two polynomials in form of x plus 2, then x plus 3. Once we multiply them together, as you are going to see, we are going to have x times x, and this will result into x squared. Then again, we are going to have x times 3. Of course, this will give us 3x. Then we get 2 times x. This will give us 2x, and 2 times 3. 2 times 3 will give us 6. Okay, now we come up with x squared plus 5x plus 6. This is what we call a quadratic polynomial. Okay, whereby this we call it A, this we call it B, and this we call it C. In other words, A is equal to 1, this is 1x squared, then B is equal to 5, and C is equal to 6. Now, that is what we call a quadratic polynomial. Now, how can we factorize it? What do we mean here? If I have x squared plus 5x plus 6, how can I take it back to go to this? How can I make it go back to x plus 2 into x plus 3? So this is what we are going to be looking at today. Okay, and now we are going to begin by using multiplication tables. Factorization of quadratic polynomials by using multiplication tables. Then, how do we do that? How can we use multiplication tables to factorize these kind of quadratic polynomials? Now, step 1, we will create a multiplication table and then write x squared in the upper left corner and 12 in the lower right corner, as you can see. Let's have our table drawn like this. Okay, then this is times. We are going to have x squared here, and here we have got 12. Next, determine x squared and 12. Okay, how do we determine that? We are going to get the factors of x squared and the factors of 12. Okay, now for x squared we know that it is x times x, okay? So it means that we are going to have x here and x here. That is x times x. What about 12? 12, we can get 12 when we get 1 times 12. We can also get 12 when we have 3 times 4, but also we can get 12 when we have 2 times 6. Of course, also when we have -1 and -12, we will get 12 3 times. -3 times -4, you'll get 12. -2 times -6, you will get 12. But I will let you know later why we are not considering the negatives. Now, if we use 1 times 12, 1 times 12 will give us 12, but 1 plus 12 is not equal to 8. You see, 1 times 12 is 12, but 1 plus 12 is not equal to 8. If we use 3 times 4, 3 times 4 is 12, but 3 plus 4 is not equal to 8. But if we take 2 times 6, 2 times 6 is 12, and 2 plus 6 is 8. You see? So we should go and take 2 times 6, because 2 times 6 will give us 8. Now, this means that we are going to come and write here 2, and we come here and write 6. You get that? Now, 2 times 8, sorry, 2 times x, we get 2x, okay? And x times 6, we get 6x. There, we have completed the whole multiplication table. Now, what does this imply? It means that x squared plus 8x plus 12 is equal to this part times this part. Okay, so that is x plus 2 into x plus 6. So there we have finished to factorize it using the multiplication table. Let's check. We are going to get the factorized version of this quadratic polynomial, which is x plus 2 into x plus 6. Okay, we simplify it and see whether we are going to get back to this one. Okay, let's go ahead and have x times x, that will be x squared, then x times 6, that will be 6x, then we get 2 times x, that will be 2x, and 2 times 6, that will be 12. So that we have x squared plus 6x plus 2x, that will be 8x plus 12. Now, you see that this is the same as our original question. So this means that what we have done is correct. Okay. The reason why we are excluding -12 times negative 1, and also negative 3 times negative 4, and also negative 2 times negative 6. It is because when we add here, we are going to be getting negatives. And here we have got a positive. So we don't need these negatives. If we will take this, we'll get negative 8. But this is positive 8. So that's why we only take the negatives. We are going to continue to understand this very well in the next examples. Okay. So let us factorize the following polynomials using multiplication tables. So we have x squared plus 7x plus 10. Now we are going to create the multiplication table. Okay, we will write here times. We go ahead and write here x squared, and then we go ahead and write here 10. Now, we know that x squared is equal to x times x. X times x. So we go ahead and write here x times this x. Now, we know that 10 is equal to, now, note one thing, this 7 is positive, okay? So since it is positive, we don't need the negatives. So we are going to have it as 2 times 5, okay? Why am I using 2 times 5? It is because 2 times 5 is 10 and 2 plus 5 is 7, okay? Now, this means that other factors like 1 times 10, we are not going to use those. 1 times 10, we are not going to use it. And also the negatives, negative 2 times negative 5, negative 1 times negative 10, we are not going to be using those, simply because we only need the ones that will result into 7. I hope you get that. Let me write it to make you understand it very well. We have 2 times 5, all negative 2 times negative 5. We also have 1 times 10, all negative 1 times negative 10. Okay? But now, if we take negative 2 times negative 5, yes, it will give us 10, but negative 2 plus 5 will not give us 7. So we don't need this. If we use negative 1 times negative 10, we will get 10, but negative 1 times negative 10 will not give us 7. So we don't need this. If we use 1 times 10, we will get 10, but 1 plus 10 is not equal to 7. We don't need this. If we use 2 times 5, we will get 10, and 2 plus 5, we will get 7. So we will take this one. Okay? So in short, you look for 2 factors that when you multiply them, you get 10. But when you add them, you get this number here, 7. Okay. So we are having 2 and we are having 5. So it actually means that when we have x squared plus 7x plus 10, we are going to come up with x plus 2 into x plus 5. So that is when it has been factorized. Now, note this problem-solving tip. For any polynomial in form of ax squared plus bx plus c, in which a, b, and c are greater than 0, in other words, you don't have any negative, as you can see in example 1. Okay? And both factors of c are positive values as shown here in example 1. We can see that 10 can be factorized into several pairs, but we only consider the pairs that have positive values for both. Okay? But then we also need to take the one whose sum will result into this b, in other words, 7. And also, we can justify the answers by multiplying the obtained factors together and then compare whether the product is equal to the given polynomial or not. So to discover that what we have done is correct, we can get this x plus 2 into x plus 5, x plus 2 into x plus 5, and we simplify it and see whether we are going to go back to our original question. So this will be x squared plus 5x plus 2x plus 10. And this will give us x squared plus 7x plus 10. So you can see that it will be the same as what we had in our question. Okay, I hope you have understood that. Let us get another example. Now, we have got x squared minus 9x plus 14. We will create the table, first of all. Okay, so we have times, then we have x squared here, and here we have got 14. And we know that x squared is the same as x times x. So we are going to have x here and x here. But then 14 is equal to 1 times 14 or negative 1 times negative 14. We can have 14 also as 2 times 7, okay? 2 times 7 or negative 2 times negative 7. Now, which one are we going to take? 1 times 14 is 14, but 1 plus 14 is not negative 9. Negative 1 times negative 14 is 14, but once we get negative 1 plus negative 14, we will not get negative 9. So this will not take it. 2 times 7, we get 14, but 2 times 7, we get 9, not negative 9. We don't need this. Negative 2 times negative 7 is 14, but negative 2 plus negative 7 is negative 9. We need this. Okay, so we go ahead and say that we are having negative 2 here and negative 7 here. Now, what is our answer? Remember, we are having x squared minus 9x plus 14. Now, this will be this part times this part. So that will be x minus 2 into x minus 7. Okay, I hope that is okay. Now, what do you notice here? You should see that for any polynomial in form of ax squared plus bx plus c, in other words, for any quadratic polynomial, in which A and C are greater than 0. A and C are positives. This is what we are talking about. And both factors of C are negative values. You see, both factors of C are negative values. Okay? We can see that 14 can be factorized into several pairs, but we will consider only pairs that have negative values for both this and this. But of course, we will finally take this because this gives us -9. Okay. Now, when you have got a negative here, okay, and then this one is a positive, you only take negative and negative. Don't take positives one. You will need negatives only. Okay. Let us now look at example number 3 and 4 to master the whole of this. Okay. Create a table, step 1. Step 2, write times here, write x squared, and write -20. Okay. Now, what are we going to consider? If this is negative, yes, remember here we have 1. So automatically we know that x squared means x times x. Okay, so it means that here we have x and here we have x. What about -20? Yes, -20, we need the two numbers that will be multiplied together to get -20. But when we add them, we will get 1. What numbers will be those? The numbers should be, it should be -4 times 5. -4 times 5. Because when we get -4 plus 5, -4 plus 5, we will come up with 1. So that's why we need to get -4 and 5. So we write here -4, and here we write there 5, so that our answer will be x squared plus x minus 20. We are going to come up with x minus 4 into x plus 5. Yes, x minus 4 into x minus 5. Okay, I believe that is fine. Let's now talk about the last example. So we have x squared minus x minus 12. So let us create the table. Then we write x squared here, and here we write minus 12. Of course, this will be x times x. Okay. How do we get minus 12? And so that when we add these two factors, we will get minus 1. How should we do that? Think about 3 and 4. 3 times 4 is 12. But now we need to have 1 as a negative so that we get -12. Okay? But then we need -1. So this means that 4 must be a negative. So we get 3 times negative 4 to get negative 12. And when we get 3 plus negative 4, we are going to get negative 1. You see? So this means that we have 3 and negative 4. Let's complete the whole table. We get 3 times x, that is 3x, and x times negative 4, we have it as minus 4x. Also, we forgot to complete this. Negative 4 times x, that will be negative 4x, and 5 times x, that is 5x. Okay, so now x squared minus x minus 12 is equal to x plus 3 into x minus 4. X plus 3 into x minus 4. So that becomes our final answer. So I would like you to go and do practice on page 19. Do practice on page 19. Let us stop here for today.